Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today with another page of notes with Mr. Jankowski. We're on page 80 in our math notebook, and we're looking at lesson 11.4, using inequalities to describe quantities. Now, I realize that there was a mistake here, and it does say lesson 10.4. You may notice that in the Go Math book, there is no lesson 10.4. There was a mistake, a typo there. Cross it out. We're actually in lesson 11.4. So we have our first definition here at the top for inequality. And out of the book, the definition for inequality is a mathematical sentence that shows the relationship between quantities that are not equal. Now, we've talked about equations, and that equations have an equal sign. It's two expressions that are shown to be equal with an equal sign. In this case, we have really two expressions that are shown as being not equal with an inequality sign. And just like equations, we can simplify these inequalities, or if you want to say solve these inequalities, we can do that too. So we have t minus 8 is less than or equal to 0. I'm going to add 8 to both sides, just like I would when I'm solving an equation. 8 or minus 8 plus 8. These are eliminated. That equals 0, and we have t all by itself. T is less than or equal to 0 plus 8, which is 8. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this, not just what inequalities look like, but also how to graph them. So we have our first example here, and I'm going to zoom in slightly. The inequality symbol that represents greater than. And this is that. And here we have the inequality x is greater than negative 4. So to graph x is greater than negative 4, I'm going to pick a color that you can see here. And I'm going to find negative 4 on the x-axis, on the number line. I'm going to make an open circle because x is greater than 4. It is not equal to 4, or negative 4 rather. X is greater than negative 4. It's not equal to 4. So I'm going to make an open circle and then draw a line to the right, indicating that everything that is greater than negative 4 could be x, or is x. Going down to our next example, we have the greater than or equal to symbol. And this is a greater than symbol with half of an equal sign underneath. So in this example, we have x is greater than or equal to 1. So to graph this on the number line, I'm going to find 1. This time I'm going to give it a closed circle because x could also equal 1, not just anything greater than 1. And then I'm going to draw an arrow going to the right, indicating that x could be any of these numbers that is greater than or equal to 1. And in our next example, we have less than, and the less than symbol. In our example, we have x is less than 2. So I'm going to graph this the same way I did above. I'll use green this time. I'm going to find 2. And because x is less than 2, but isn't 2, just like I did above, I'm going to give it an open circle. And this time I'm going to say x is less than 2, so anything left of 2 on the number line are numbers that are less than 2. So x is less than 2, but not 2. And then likewise, we have our next example here. Less than or equal to. And here's our symbol. Same as greater than or equal to, but the inequality symbol has flipped. And then we also have the half of the equal sign underneath. So less than or equal to. And in this example, we have x is less than or equal to 4. So I'm going to find 4 on the number line. Now, x could also equal 4 or anything less than 4. So I'm going to give it a closed circle and draw an arrow to the right saying that any of these numbers that are less than 4 could also be x. Now, if I went too fast, I want you to remember that you can pause this video, restart it, rewind it, whatever you need to do to write down all of this for your notes, and make sure you do this neatly so that you can see the differences when you're graphing something that is greater than or equal to. So anything that is greater than or less than, you would have an open circle and then a line graphing that, either left or right. And then for greater than and equal to or less than and equal to, you would have a closed circle in your graph going either left or right. Now, going on to some more vocabulary, or rather clue words that you'll find in word problems that involve inequalities. If you see a word problem that is regarding greater than, you'll see words like more than or above. And we'll run into a few of these problems in our class. Word problems that involve inequalities that talk about greater than or equal to, you'll see words like at least or no less than. So problems that involve inequalities less than, you'll see words like fewer than or below. And then finally, when you're reading word problems that talk about less than or equal to, you'll see words like at most or no more than. So definitely write these down and take good notes for this. This will definitely come in handy as we go forward the next few weeks and beyond. So that's it for page 80. Make sure you take detailed notes today. Make sure you write neatly so you can see how to graph properly. And write down those clue words down below to make sure that you have those accessible when you run into word problems. Thank you so much for joining me today on page 80 in our math notebook, and I'll see you in the next video.